What's up everybody, it's Matt from Peter Glenn, and when you're shopping for boots, it's good to know the basic pieces and parts of a boot. This makes it a little easier to understand and compare so you can find the boots that are going to work best for your riding style. So with boots being your most important piece of equipment, a lot more go into these things than most people realize. So when we start at the ground and kind of work our way up, we're gonna look at the sole, which is actually made up of 3 parts. You actually have your outsole, your midsole, and your insole. Starting with the outsole, this is the part that's gonna be touching the ground and touching your bindings. This is all about your grip, your traction, a little bit of your stability, your durability. And then going to the midsole, this is gonna be the part that's above or kind of inside your outsole, but still on the outside of the boot. And this is where most of your cushioning comes from and a lot of your support. And then the insole is the part that's inside the boot, and that's basically gonna cup your foot, give you cushioning, give you support, and basically give you the comfort that you need all day long. And then working our way up from the sole, we have the shell of the boot. And this is basically made up of 3 parts. You're gonna have the lower part here down around your toe and around the forefoot. You're gonna have the cuff, and then you're gonna have the backstay. So the cuff basically is the upper part that kind of wraps around your foot and really helps lock you in. And then a lot of times it can do an articulated cuff where the top is kind of separate. So when it flexes, it can flex around the bottom of the boot a little bit and it doesn't affect the bottom of the boot. Or sometimes that might be all one piece on some of your stiffer boots. And then the backstay is basically this piece that goes up the back of your boot from the heel. And what this does is tells the boot how stiff it's gonna be. It gives it its support. And depending on how big this thing is, how stiff it is, how high it goes up, this is basically gonna tell you everything about how the boot rides, if it's gonna be a little bit stiffer, quicker, snappier ride, or if it's gonna have a little bit softer, easier flex. And then moving to the front of the boot, we obviously are gonna have the laces. So the lacing system could be the standard laces. You could have boas, whether it's single or double. You could have pull strings, or you could even have a hybrid where you're actually combining 2 of these lacing systems together to give you that ultimate hold. But this is obviously going to lock you into the boot, but also depending on the lacing system, especially with standard laces, you can really custom lace the boot and get a perfect fit, and you can actually get a little bit different flex out of the boot depending on where you're riding and how you want the boot to feel that day. And then from the lacing, we go inside the boot. We're gonna have a liner, unless you have a linerless boot where that liner is built into the boot. And then the liner itself, most of the times, is going to have an internal lacing on the inside of the liner, something that's basically gonna help you lock down the liner, really give you a nice tight feel. Sometimes this is attached to the liner, sometimes it's a piece that goes around the outside of the liner that's attached to the boot. This is literally just to give you a little bit easier fit on the inside of the boot, snug it up before you tighten down the outside of the boot. So obviously those are all the standard features of most of your snowboard boots out there. And there could be a little bit more depending on the company and more importantly, depending on the specific boot. But in general, those are the things that make up a boot, and those are gonna basically tell the boot how it's gonna fit and more importantly, how it's gonna ride. But if you got any questions beyond what we talked about, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We wanna make sure we can get you in some rad gear, but most importantly, we wanna make sure that you can find the gear that's gonna work best for you and your riding style. Also make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely get that notification bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And grab yourself a new set of boots and get out and ride, because any day of riding is a good day of riding.